All right, so with our handsome Mr. Bodie, oh, you found a toy. Nice job. So we're just going to warm up a little bit with some loose leash walking. He's been doing a stellar job. He's been really enjoying his WrestleMania time with his buddies. So I am excited that I know some of them have already registered for this next coming up round. And don't worry if, again, you're taking a break, like I mentioned earlier with Miss R. You can always come back to programs later, too, if your schedule becomes a little bit more wild come summertime. So for Mr. B, we're just going to practice a little bit of moving around, yes, and then capturing these great moments when he orients back to me from the environment. And he can be on the left or the right. We're just mostly getting him to think that there's some really great value in moving back from something else back to this little space next to your leg. Yes, nice job. So again, we'll let him get a little distracted. Nice job. Yes. He's doing awesome. Ready? Find it. So sometimes too, when he's working some of these great find its, we can also work a bit through some of those great recalls he's been doing a real nice job with. Bodie, here. Yes, good job, sir. So smart. He's doing stellar, right? We'll do another little find it. Nice. I was worried that was going to go rolling under the barrier. Yeah, good job. So not always do you have to necessarily ask for the skill. So if, let's say, you're sometimes just capturing great moments when your puppy is orienting to you and maybe you were a little distracted, you didn't get to work your recall word, he's still starting to realize that coming to you still has a lot of great value. Nice, good job, sir. So view it again like you're kind of lying down the foundation for these behaviors to become very resilient and reliable for down the road. Bodie, here. He says, lady, I lost that one. He's like, oh my gosh, you'll find it maybe later. Nice. Maybe that one went into a crack. That's always very sad when we lose them to the cracks in the floor. Good job. So of course, those little recall moments were looking really pretty. So we'll do a little bit. Ready? Good job. We're just going to work a little bit through movement, get him up and wiggling, see if you can sort of stay nearby. Ready? Good job. And of course, we're going to rock some of his favorites, his place behavior. He's working that big boy stay. And then two, I am going to be working on the schedule again for come my advanced explore and learn class, which is going to be an outdoor class. Gorgeous job, good boy. So that one again will be similar. I know you guys took the advanced class earlier where we went and did field trips. So we went to like Tractor Supply, for example. So this one I typically like to go to at times Fournier Park, which is in Leominster, or Doyle Conservation, which is also in Leominster. So sometimes those tend to be our two outdoor classroom zones that I like to have the pups practice in. So right here, I'm going to maybe go ahead and apply my stay. And I'm going to see if I can add a little bit of wiggles, just see how he's feeling for it for today. And today he did really well. So nothing seemed to be bugging that back leg, which is great. So even while he did some really nice playtime earlier. Some little distractions. Yes, so smart. It's so cute too, like when they're here, as I mentioned, like they kind of rotate through playing, through outdoor time for potty breaks, and then they also work on their sessions where they're getting filmed for their practice. So I normally prep the rooms earlier in the morning while they're here and they're doing some play, and they kind of peek in and check on me. And what I'm doing is I'm setting up with some of their chews, some of the items from home, a few other body parts, spare parts that I have here that they can work on. So novelty factor. And then that way, when they're all done doing their wrestles and their potty breaks and it's time for them to go in for a little nap, they like rush to get into their little sections to enjoy their little prizes. So it reminds me of like little kids for Christmas. They get all excited, rushing to go check out the presents. So he's doing really nice with this lovely stay. So two guys, if you're finding that a place or going to a spot like this is really helpful for him to kind of take a pause, sort of simmer, sort of become a little bit softer, You may find that bringing maybe a dog cot like this and practicing in different parts of your yard, be it front, side, driveway, and again, not to force him through, like I mentioned with Ruby, not to force him through something he finds challenging. Did you chew that last one? Oh my goodness. Chewing is optional. So if let's say he's pooped out already, all that wild man WrestleMania earlier. So if let's say going to a target spot is something that helps him hone in on you or kind of take a pause, there's a lot of really great, bed exercises from the Control Unleashed pattern games as well, where the bed starts to become like a place to relax and take a break. So it could be one of those things where you can build up this very nice association and bring it to different places as little field trips. So I know with my guy, I have like a, I guess it's like a plastic material almost, but it's like meant where you can sit on it and you can roll it up. I like that one because it's mostly waterproof. Sometimes the beds that you can travel with are not as water repellent, though some might be. And it can be nice because you can roll it up and then unroll it and then place it in different venues. And then that can sort of help transfer that place behavior to different zones. So, but we don't want to, again, make it overwhelming. So if he was feeling scared and then you were doing place behaviors near like loud trucks or motorcycles, that would not be what I'd be rocking. Because then the going to your spot equals here comes danger and there's no escape. This is really pretty. So I'm going to do, again, a little bit more with distractions. Because we all know Mr. Handsome enjoys his toys. So, yes. So on this one, maybe I'll go ahead, we'll give him a little breather from the stay. So we're going to go all done, and we'll get Mr. Handsome Pants up. What a good job, Mr. B. So he can get some lovies because he did such a good job. But I would recommend keep the food, like we've been practicing in the prior steps through different classes. Oh, you found a toy. Is make it where, what a good boy, boys. You're so smart. Ready? You want to go get that one? Go get it. So you may find that working up to some of these skills and rotating and keeping them short and sweet can also be very helpful. Oh, thank you. What a smart boy. But getting him to practice some of these little stages or little steps in different sections. Oh my goodness, chewing. Chewing is so hard. That's one of the top lists that we should start working on, is chewing in class. Look at you. Smart man. Right to his spot. Good job. So maybe if he's rocking a little bit with this place right now, we're going to try one more. So ready? I'm going to tell him to, again, stay. But remember, like with the stay, like we were blabbing a few seconds ago, is stay is all about stay there, and then that's going to be the moments we get reinforced. So he doesn't get food for breaking, only for being stationary. So as he becomes more comfortable, you start to extend the time frame between some of the intervals. You might increase like your distance. He's doing very nice. Good job, sir. I know I was using actually the hula hoop earlier, so I'm not gonna like do this in a way to like instantly spook the handsome guy. But maybe, for example, you're busting out Novelty. Maybe vacuuming is hard, or maybe mopping is challenging, or whatever it might be. So we'll do a little bit with a distraction, and I'll go back and feed him. You dropped your friend. You have your friend back. So if, for example, you haven't started to generalize sort of these skills with some novelty or some distractions, that would be something I would start to add. He's like, what the heck? Nice job. He's like, it was definitely alive for a minute. Yes. So smart. He's doing gorgeous. Yes. So again, if when practicing something new, he were to fail, so what I mean by that is like he gets up and he breaks, I wouldn't, again, get upset, but just restart him and see if we can try once more. So right there, just a loud hula making funny noises. Nice job. Oh, hold on. We dropped one. Here you go. He's doing a good job. That was a noisy one. But if at points when you're trying something that you haven't really done before and you're finding the criteria has now gotten a little bit too challenging or too stressful or too exciting, always try to go back a couple steps to where the dog or the puppy was doing really well, chewing. Otherwise, if we tend to by accident think, okay, they've got a really good base, we're just going to make it harder and harder and harder and harder, and then we never really quite give it little breathers in between. So I would highly recommend keep it easy, then add a little difficulty, see how it goes, and bring it back to easy again. Because if, let's say, your training always keeps building and it never really seems achievable or attainable for the puppy's perspective, it could be very stressful for them, but also very frustrating for you. So make sure that, again, it's going at a rate where you're seeing slow progression, but you're not looking for perfection either. More just progress in the direction you were hoping to get to. Mr. B says, I'm so tired. Doing a great job with your place. Nice. So maybe let's say we're going to have him get up and break from this lovely stay. So we're going to go all done. So smart. Ready? He's like, I'd like to bring the toy with me. So if he gets a little stuck because he's maybe a little tired, I sometimes just wiggle my fingers, get him up and wiggle so he can at least break when I've asked him to be done with the exercise. Oh, beautiful. Now he can go check out the funny hula. Nice job, mister. Maybe you would like to go through the hula. I know Miss Ruby thought it was a bit spooky. So if, for example, I think he even got to play with hulas last time. I feel like at a different class too. So obviously, like I mentioned, the confidence building class could be a great venue for a lot of the babes for continuing to build through some of this. He's like, no, I'll go around also. But continuing to build through some of this novelty doesn't have to always equal stressful or spooky. So if, let's say, he's having a little bit of a moment where he's trying to go around, you can also use like a wall. So that way, again, and I didn't mean to block it with my back end. So that way you can kind of help him as opposed to he's like, nope, how about that way? We'll try it from this side. Ready? So we'll get his attention back on the hand and then toss the food. So as I mentioned earlier for Miss R, there are going to be moments where they're trying to figure out what the heck we're trying to do. So sometimes they may go around or go behind and maybe jump over as opposed to going through the obstacle. So, but what we're going to try to do is sometimes toss the food literally right in front of his little nose. Yes, nice job. And then get him to practice just leaping while it's stationary and grounded on the floor. Ready? He's like, oh, around seems better. So don't worry if it's not the prettiest thing ever. The main goal is we're just trying something new and he doesn't feel scared. Yes, nice job. I know I didn't even get to throw it yet. He was like, I was ready. So, but when trying novelty, definitely go at the rate your puppy feels comfortable trying and build from there. But not too shabby with Mr. Handsome working a bit with that lovely, he's about to do it, his lovely place behavior in that stay. And he's doing really nice with the level of distractions he can now tolerate too and the distances, which is very impressive, sir. So smart. So we'll give Mr. B a little break and then we'll work a few more other skills. We'll do a little find it for him. What a handsome boy.